Murray go-kart. This one's been around a while, and I got it like 30 years ago in a discount rack over at Sam's. And with age, I wanted to show you some of the problems that come with these things. I went through a welding course at my local college, and man, I could drag projects in there and work on stuff left and right, and that really helped me out on getting caught up on stuff. But this Murray, we run it pretty hard and pretty often, and so to say it's been a durable go-kart is an understatement. I'm really pleased with it. The engine cradle, I wanted to show you guys, get that out of the way. See how these tubes go across right here to help support that engine cradle? Well, it cracked right there, and I remember seeing this motor just bounce up and down like that, and I couldn't figure it out, and I crawled underneath there. So at the time I put an angle iron on top and I didn't put one on bottom, and I welded that up. It worked for a little bit, but what I ended up doing is running these tubes the length of the frame to increase the frame rigidity. This is the original frame here that goes up through here, and these tubes run all the way up through here, and I put a bumper on here. Now I kept having problems. You know, you got to have a bumper on these because the kids will run and you dent and bend up your steering rod. You could see how this piece right here has been bent up, and that gets your front end alignment out, which I need to fix. That's the reason why I got it up on this stuff, is I'm getting ready for family day, and I'm going to get this one going and set up, and usually this one is a dependable one. I've got to get this toe in out a little bit more, but this kind of stuff keeps that from getting damaged. I did a video on how to do seats up. This is marine grade vinyl, and they last a long time. Now I know you're going to look at this and think that's really weird, but the reason that I did that is because this whole assembly will sit there and just shake and shake and shake, and I'm like, there's a little bitty weld there, you know, and there's little tubes holding it there, so triangulate it. That's what I was doing. But adding these bars underneath there, and I would weld it in certain places. I did a back little bumper. Now this little thing was for a fuel tank, because I think the factory Predator motors have too small a tank. Now I also have a video of how to I got my tanks off, and I'm coating them, and I'm currently letting them dry, but I have a video also of how to coat the tanks, and I'm doing Dustin's go-kart. He's got a Greyhound motor, 11 horse with the 15 to 17 horse kit on it, but I got the wheel off because I'm going to do I'm doing the brake, and I got a clutch on the way. That big thing right there is a fender that fits across this. This is a single wheel that spins. It has really great turning radius, but it tears the hell out of the yard. Now I put in another motor plate here, and I moved, you can see by this compared to this, I moved the motor back about 1/2 inch because it would hit the seat up here, and I had plenty of room in between here. So I had to extend my chain. I had to cut another chain length. Eventually, what I might do is cut that off and that other side off, put a pillow block underneath here and an axle, and that way I can run both tires will turn. It's an idea I'm playing with, and that way on that axle somewhere I'll put a couple of go-kart racing disc brakes, and take this off and put the hydraulic disc brakes on the back. But I'm going to do a fuel cell. Well, let me go over the roll cage first. This roll cage used to come over and to the front, and it would curl around and come in right here. And with the vibration, it just broke off one day. So, and you can see I've welded it, you know, many times to try to keep it to stay on, and it never would stay on. I ended up really tightening these in tight. I put a diagonal right here, welded it. I have a diagonal right here, and this was for my little project. But these all made it stiff, because if this ever does roll over, you don't want the weight of the unit hitting anybody on the head. And that's why all my go-karts have roll cages on them, except Dustin's. But I'm going to be taking this off, and I got an experiment I'm working on to where I'm using a 2.5 gallon fuel cell. It comes off, they use them in dragsters, and I can adapt everything to where it's going to work on this. The fuel tanks on these rust up horribly bad, and it has ruined this carburetor. So I got another carburetor I'm going to put on possibly today. But I just I'd have to build some sort of frame to support that 2.5 gallons, and I'd have to really build it sturdy, because let me think, gasoline is 8 pounds a gallon, and so that'd be 16, 17, 18, 19 pounds that I've got floating up here. I mean, I need a fuel cell like that, because I put all the kids out here and let them run for hours at a time, and so boom, I don't have to worry about, kids have fun, and we can sit up there in the shade and drink tea and tell good stories, visit with family. I contemplated about putting the stage 1 on here, but never really did. I got one just sitting there. Anyhow, I wanted to show you these guys. This is 1-inch tubing, and it works really good. And you could really strengthen the frame up of these. Like I said, I've had this thing around 30 years, and it's still going. And if you build these right, you can control the throttle of this thing, and not let it go crazy, and so that way this motor lives, stuff like that. The green one over there, I'm definitely going to put a fuel cell on it, because it runs the longest. The fuel cell is made of aluminum. I'm going to put the foam in there to cut down on slosh, and without having any rust, my carburetors will live longer, and I'll have an external filter that I could see. See, on these you can't see the filter to see if they're clean and all. So anyhow, I know it looks terrible, but it's really been a good go-kart. I put industrial bearings in here. I took the bearing out and I went to an industrial supply place and put industrial bearings in here, and I've never had to put other bearings in there. Inside these, when I put new tires in here, I'll I'll put about half a cup of slime in here. I squirt a lot of slime in here. And then I take it and run it around the yard, and that coats the tire down real well. And honestly, for years, these tires will just stay filled up and good. Now, because this one tire turns here, I wear out tires like crazy right here. And that's where I was thinking about that little trick of putting an axle underneath and doing both sides. It also would cut down wear and tear, and especially tearing the yard up. But these, if you get these frames, I would just do that little stuff, because you'll find the motor cradle will crack right there. Hell, it cracked right. Okay, it cracked right there too. See, I've worked so much on this thing, I forgot all the things that I've done to it. But yeah, it cracked right there and right over there, and that's one of the reasons why I had to do that subframe underneath this thing. But anyhow, it's been a good go-kart. That was one of the first Predator motors that came out. I used to get the Greyhound engines, and Greyhound was all blue. And it was the same design, but just looked different. But anyhow, that's where I'm at on this go-kart. And that was some good advice and techniques. If you got one of these old Murrays that Sam sold about 30 years ago. But anyhow, you guys have a good one, and I'm out of here. Or I will see you on the next video.